Good morning, everybody. This is Selam, coming here to just do a quick, about me recording, I guess, so that you know who I am and what I'm hoping that you get out of this podcast. Like I said, my name is Selam. My family also calls me Tesfa. So I have a very peaceful and hopeful name. And so, so I live in Seattle, Washington with my husband and my daughter our daughter who's a year and a half, and her name is Abby, and she's, of course, the center of everything for us right now. I got married a few years ago, and I'm very passionate about the work that I do. I'm a little bit of a workaholic, but I'm working on it. And the stuff that I guess a little bit about me. Okay, let's see. I grew up in Ethiopia. I was born and raised in Addis Ababa, which is the capital of Ethiopia. And so my initial or native language is Amharic. I grew up in a multi-ethnic community. I'm half Gurage, half Amara, and 100% Ethiopian, I'm very proud of my ethnicity, my identity as an Ethiopian. I try to go back as much as I can. My husband and I try to go back to now, since we've been married, and every time we're there, we find the most amount of peace that we just feel like we just fall in love with our place or our country every time we go. And it's not a perfect place for many reasons, but it is the place we have, so we love it a lot. And I came here with my family. My family won the DV, which is the diversity visa, and we came here when I was 15. And I started high school. Initially I studied in a bilingual school, so it's for students who immigrated from a non-English speaking country. And that was a pretty cool year I spent with people from all over the world. A large Asian population, and a large Mexican, Spanish speaking population, and then many East Africans. And so that was a cool world school that I attended for a year, and then I transferred over to a quote-unquote standard high school, and I studied there, and then went to University of Washington. Was the first in my family to attend college, but not the last, because everyone after that has gone to college. And not only that, but one of my brother actually goes to Harvard, so he's kind of a show-off, but it's okay. So it's been cool. We're typical Habesha upbringing in terms of once we came to the U.S., my parents were super strict and very stressed education. Everything was about education. There's nothing else but education when you're a student for them. And I think overall it turned out okay. What I mean by that is I think it turned out for the best, but it can be a stressful upbringing, as many people talk about, being kind of that first person in the family, being a girl, and kind of I've gotten a lot of expectation put on me about kind of modeling for all my siblings and other people around us and other youth around me, that I'm supposed to kind of model good behavior by doing well in school and all that, because that pressure was sometimes unhealthy, but generally, it's gotten me to where it's gotten me right now, which is to say that I have a 2 master's degree in public health and public policy. I think just as a lot of Habeshas, I find that I just piled on the degrees, but it's good. I learned a lot in that process, and it is what it is. With the loans are still looking straight at me, and that's kind of a scary thing. But at the same time, I don't regret it. I think there were times that I regretted it, but getting 2 master's degrees and piling on so much student loan, but at the same time, I think that it is kind of of required, I think, when you're like an immigrant, low-income person. Like, you kind of need to have those degrees in order to have access to the type of education you can probably, or the type of jobs and opportunities. Like, you can probably get away with it if you're like a white guy or something without a master's degree or without an undergrad degree, but it's different when you're an immigrant, when you're a low-income, working class family. Like, it's kind of, higher education does tend to be the ticket out of those kind of experiences. So I am happy with that. I've lived in Detroit, Michigan, and then Ann Arbor, Michigan for about 4 years total during my graduate school education, and right after undergrad, I went to Detroit to be a community organizer, and that was probably a really amazing experience that shaped a lot of what I do today and what I care about today. That was cool. And I live in a very diverse part of Seattle now. A lot of East Africans, a lot of like Asian immigrants, refugees, like lots of black churches, things like that. And this is the type of place I like living. I really, when I was in Detroit, I loved it. When I was in Ann Arbor, it was really hard for me because it's a college town, it's very white. There was like one Habesha restaurant, and to be honest, it was kind of terrible. Like, it really wasn't a good restaurant. But hey, like, they were doing what they were doing. They had good business. They had a lot of people who went there. So not me, but lots of people went there. So so I missed that. I missed living like in a place where there were people that look like me. So that was a really good experience when I was away from my neighborhood, that I realized how important it is for my mental health to be around other people who looked like me. And so I appreciate where I live, and I really find pride in it, and feel happy and privileged that I could raise my kid and have a family in a community that is very diverse. It is gentrifying, just like many other neighborhoods, urban environments around the country, and there's a lot of really smart and dedicated people working to stop it, but capitalism is a really powerful force, and it's hard to really get a hold of sometimes. So that's a little bit about me. And I currently work in a higher education institution, and I do community engagement work for a university. I enjoy that work, and then I enjoy the work that I do outside of that. I'm very active in the Ethiopian community, and currently I'm doing COVID-related information sharing. I pretty much run a Sunday program, kind of like a radio show pretty much, and I bring on like Ethiopian professionals, and we try to give out like quality information that folks in the Seattle, King County, Washington State area can use to access resources and navigate that, because it's really hard for a lot of our community, especially newcomers, to access resources that is allocated for them. And so I'm really passionate about that. So that's a little bit about me, and I'm so excited to tell you more about myself, because I hope that it will kind of make sense of like the topics I choose to talk about in this podcast based on who I am as a black immigrant woman. And that's a really important identity for me. It shapes kind of my daily life. It shapes the decisions I make, big and small. So I hope that will help you kind of engage with me in a more deeper level. And so thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and shout out to all my family and friends who have listened and given me feedback. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you all are supporting me through this, as I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do this, and just find my voice in all of this. So thank you so much, and have a great Thursday. Bye.